Allah, the most compassionate, the most merciful, I feel much delighted to welcome you, ladies and gentlemen, to the 15th International Conference on Islamic Capital Markets with the main theme of developing Islamic capital markets to converge the Ummah.
The compassionate, the merciful. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, knowledgeable scholars, it's with great pleasure and honor that I welcome you all to the 15th Islamic Capital Markets Conference.
Actually, we are done with the first day of the event. I hope you have enjoyed it, and we are waiting for you tomorrow morning right at 9 o'clock here at the same venue. Thank you and goodbye.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim wa lahul hamd. Ladies and gentlemen, our distinguished guests, I stand before you today with great enthusiasm and honor to share our research about Sharia governance. At the outset, I extend my condolences on the martyrdom of Lady Fatima, the beloved daughter of Prophet Muhammad, in one narration, and also express heartfelt sympathies to all of you and Islamic community for the heart-wrenching tragedy in Gaza. Okay. As we delve into the intricacies of Sharia governance, it is imperative to recognize the pivotal role it plays in ensuring that financial practices align with Islamic principles. Over the past decades, the landscape of financial practices has undergone significant transformation, promoting researchers to explore innovation, solution, and insight. In this paper, we are gonna to get and extract some hint from papers in the world, and after that we are gonna to design an ideal modern pattern for Sharia governance for Islamic Republic of Iran. But the later part, it's not done today. Okay, in first slide, we start with a general overview of this paper. The purpose. This presentation aims to comprehensively explore the foundational aspects and challenges of Sharia governance within IFIS. What is its significance? Sharia governance plays a pivotal role in ensuring that financial practices align with Islamic principles, thereby fostering trust among stakeholders and maintaining the highest standards of ethical conduct. What is our scope? Our exploration will encompass a detailed examination of the definition, key component, challenge, and literature gap pertaining to Sharia governance. What is our methodology? Our methodology is a scoping review. This study employs a scoping review methodology, a systematic and rigorous approach to map and synthesis relevant literature on Sharia governance within Islamic financial institutions. What is its framework? The research is structured around defining Sharia governance, exploring its framework, understanding and identifying literature gap. The importance of a scoping review lies in its capacity to map the breadth of research, identifying key themes and gaps for further explorations. In this slide, you see a word cloud, and it is a bibliometric graphic analysis that is extracted from our 67 selected papers. In this slide, you see the subject themes of our selected papers. As you can see, Sharia Supervisory Boards is the most papers. We're gonna do a qualitative analysis, Sharia governance definition. After we saw all of definition in our selected paper, we suggested a definition for Sharia governance. Sharia governance is a holistic framework ensuring adherence to Sharia principles, certifying compliance, and regulating the overall operation of Islamic financial institutions. It involves a range of practices and institutional arrangements crucial for legitimacy, compliance, and integrity within the Islamic financial industry. After that, Sharia governance framework is the selected title I want to say here. Some points and hints we are extracted. In some countries, we have Sharia advisory committees, and in another, we have Sharia supervisory board. All of this kind provides fatwa, conduct Sharia audits, and guide banks or financial institutions on Sharia laws. The independence and competence of these Sharia advisory committees or supervisory boards is so important. There must be free of conflict and possess expertise in Sharia and accounting. Another hint is that regulatory bodies needed for these committees or board to compliance the principal rules. Number 4, standardization and transparency. Regulators should provide uniform instruction for the structure, size, tenure, powers, and responsibility of SSBs for consistency across IFIS. Number 5, communication and reporting. Sharia annual reporting facilitates communication and transparency between SAC or SSB members and stakeholders. Number 6, restriction on committee members. Limits on SC members sitting on multiple committees within same industry promote shura or consultation and mitigate competitive risk. Number 7 of our hint for designing an ideal model or pattern for Sharia governance framework is transparency and disclosure. A specific section in Sharia governance framework addresses transparency, clarifying Sharia compliance decision-making processes. Number 8 is roles in governance. Roles of board of directors and Sharia supervisory boards contribute to effective Sharia governance. And the last item is independent organization. Part 3, Sharia governance challenges. Number 1, quality of SSB or DPS members. This challenge is about concerns about the integrity and competence of Sharia supervisory board members impacting optimal Sharia compliance supervision. There are some solutions, but in this point, I go to another challenge. Transparency and disclosure. Some Sharia boards lack transparency in providing detailed information on compliance approval affecting stakeholders' confidence. Number 3, impact of Sharia boards. Limits impact of Sharia boards on daily operation despite their advisory roles is another challenge. Number 4, regulatory frameworks. Lack of diversity requirements in existing regulatory framework for SSBs. Number 5, operational risk. Operational risk related to Sharia compliance affecting SSB performance. Number 6, autonomy of Sharia officers. Limits autonomy of Sharia officers in decision making is another challenge. Number 7, criteria for qualified scholars. Lack of standards criteria for recognizing qualified Sharia scholars impacting credibility. In this slide, we go to Sharia governance literature gaps. SSB's independence and Islamic financial institution performance. Lack of empirical evidence on how the independence of Sharia supervisory board influenced Islamic financial institution performance. Number 2, measurements of SSB independence. Absence of a comprehensive measurement tool for SSB independence. Number 3, expanding research scope. The limited exploration beyond Islamic financial institution neglected other sectors like the taqaful industry. Another gap is Sharia function impact. Inadequate investigation into the impact of Sharia function, review, audit, risk, research on governance practices and Islamic financial institution performance. Number 5, internal Sharia audit effectiveness. Insufficient understanding of factors influencing the effectiveness of internal Sharia audits is another gap. And 6th gap is credit rating policies. Limited research on credit rating policies tailored for Islamic financial institution. The last slide for Sharia governance literature gap. Role of Sharia councils. Inadequate exploration of Sharia councils' role and contribution to management and accountability. Number 8, standard criteria for qualified scholars. Absence of standard criteria for recognizing qualified Sharia scholars. And the last item is replication studies and comparative analysis. Insufficient replication studies, comparative analysis, and investigation into board and management willingness to ensure Sharia compliance. Okay, thanks to all. For recap of analysis, we are going to do comprehensive examination of Sharia governance in IFIS, importance of Sharia governance, and explored Sharia governance components, and identifying challenges such as SSB roles, transparency and disclosure, impacts on operational decision, regulatory framework, operational risk, and etc. And addressing challenges such as crucial for strengthening Sharia governance practice and ensuring integrity of Sharia compliance within IFIS. Thanks a lot.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Fattahi. Let me invite Mr. Fattahi to present his thesis, and you have only 10 minutes to present your paper. I will have you. Please. If you have any question about Fattahi's thesis, please write and keep it. Write and keep it for the end of our panel. Please. Go ahead.
In the name of God, thank you all for taking the time to listen to this presentation. At the beginning of the speech, I must mention Prof. Sadabos Musavian, our teacher in university, and hoping for the victory of resistance front in Palestine. Our topic article is the role of Sharia governance in realizing ESG criteria in financial market. About introduction, one of the market that continuously needs to rules, law, and another provision in financial market that has for growing trend and using the new financial tools and founding the new institutions as market, Sharia supervision on this area plays an important role. For this reason, Islamic different countries also by developing their financial markets and needs to having approved rule by Holy Sharia have proceeded to find international Islamic finance institutions to propose requirements standards to judicial supervision and Sharia governance for Islamic financial market. One of the United Nations organization action is defining a general document with title of Sustainable Development Goals, SDG, that is along this extending the sustainability of development in countries and increasing the economic, cultural, juridic, social, and environmental matters level in countries. In order to realize these goals, ESG measures that are abbreviated three total group of environmental, social, and cooperative governance factors have been defined on level of companies, even on countries. Realizing the ESG components not only in common West and financial governance, government has been known as human and social task, and along with development of social and economic justice, but also in Islamic courses in addition to moral task is its basis and rules has been formed at judicial task area more widely. Now, the question of this research, how is the relation governed on Sharia governance and ESG components? In other words, what is the role of Sharia governance in realizing ESG criteria in capital market? About literature, as you see, Sharia governance has three components. First, guidance. You see that regulation and policy making. Second, supervisioning. And third, competition. And ESG related issues, in order to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals, SDG, these goals for companies are classified into three categories. ESG investing incorporated environmental, social, and governance issues into analyze, selection, and management of investments. Key issue or consideration typically include E, environmental, climate change, carbon emission, pollution. S, social, human rights, labor standards, and etc. G, governance, corporate governance, corruption, rule of law, institutional strength, and transparency. It is the summary of criteria and standards for ESG, just one slide about corporate criteria, governance, and financial sector. About Sharia, we have for ESG some verses and narrative about this, like for environmental factor. You see, in Quran has forbidden the corruption on earth. لا تفسدوا في الأرض بعد إصلاحها ذلكم خير لكم إن كنتم مؤمنين وإذا تولى سعى في الأرض ليفسد فيها ويهلك الحرث والنسل والله لا يحب الفساد. About social factor, for example, borrowing without interest. من أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم من ذا الذي يقرض الله قرضا حسنا فيضاعفه له أضعافا كثيرة والله يقبض ويبسط وإليه ترجعون. About corruptive governance factors, respect rules. Muslims' property respect is same reverence of his blood. About hadith from Prophet Muhammad, حرمة مال المسلم كحرمة دمه. What's the current situation about Sharia governance and ESG? Sharia governance has some points, and ESG, you see, for a short time I should, this slide, you know, the common denominator of subject, Sharia governance and ESG have just G, about governance. And what's the suggested status? You see that if we promote the Sharia governance, it should be like this picture. While in the terms of Islamic course before mentioned, in Sharia rules respecting some components related to social or environmental matters is imperative, and non-implementation of them make guarantees. Thus, if definition of Sharia risk is extended according to verses, narratives, and juridical rules and problems that are imperative in environmental and social domains considered in the Sharia risk, Sharia governance, and in other words, Sharia risk will beyond current codified components for ESG. We must do something so that the rules of Sharia, which considers environmental and social issues as binding, are considered among Sharia risk standards in framework of Sharia governance. In the case, environmental and social issues will become mandatory. It should be noted that not all Sharia teachings are covered in the ESG criteria, such as the issue of zakat, Qarzul Hasana, and Sharia screening. And in the case that ESG is considered as part of Sharia supervision, all the rules of Sharia must be applied to each of environmental, social, and cooperative governance factors. In addition, the governing relationship between these three factors should be organized based on jurisprudential standards. Summary and conclusion. In the Islamic financial market, Sharia governance is challenging, and serious problems with the implementation needs to codifying the principles and operational procedure. Beside ESG matter, during recent years, both Islamic finance and conventional financial domains has been attended. But in codifying the operational principles of Sharia governance, the ESG position has not been regarded correctly. In none of written article, the relationship between ESG and Sharia rules is not mentioned. Most the research that have been done regarding the standards and criteria how to monitor Sharia governance and cooperative governance. Thus, if definition of Sharia governance was extended, firstly, ESG matters and find their domain, and secondly, they will be more imperative, and one can consider reward to compensation for them. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Mr. Fattahi, for regarding time shortages. If you have any question about Fattahi's or Lotfi's thesis, we will come back to you to have your question. In the name of God, the merciful, the compassionate, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to express my heartfelt thanks to all our organizers of the international conference and for inviting you here in this conference. I thank you very much for attending here and participating in this panel. Firstly, let me have a quick glance on Iranian market history, development of Sharia governance framework in Iran capital market. Iranian capital market is divided for two parts, before Islamic Revolution and after Islamic Revolution. Before Islamic Revolution, our capital market was established for the first time in 1969. It dates back to 1916. It is the oldest one in the region. It has started very well in its beginning and has considerable achievement in its starting and it is in its commerce. Financial instrument in Iranian capital market was a little because it engaged in its establishment challenges and problems, and the bonds was issued a considerable amount, usually based bonds, and also some sort of equity-based securities was listed in Tehran stock market. After Islamic Revolution in Iran, everything was changed in Iran deeply and basically. So according to this paradigm shift, our constitutional law was approved, and so actually the bonds, usually based bonds, was eliminated from our market. Because of the Iraqi war against Iran that started against Iran, we keep it in a lake and continue the existing circumstances for more than 10 years, from 1979 to 1992. We keep the market, but the considerable event at this period was the Iranian Islamic Banking Act. According to this act, we successfully issued the musharika sukuk in our market. From 1984 to 2005, the procedure of privatization was occurred in our country. So according to this program, a lot of state-run companies transferred to private and public sector. Instead of running by state, the companies was transferred to public and private sector. Because of our finding and our achievements during this time, during this period, we finally ratified the Securities and Exchange Act in 2005. We focused on providing the law for about 10 years. We studied everything and we finalized our act in 2005, and finally the new act was approved by our parliament. According to this main law in Iran, a lot of Sharia-based, actually the instruments and actually the institutions was established in Iran. And also, according to this law, the Sharia committee was established in Iran, and it is inaugurated in our Securities and Exchange Organization, and it has started its work. And a lot of Islamic-based financing was started in Iran. And eventually, according to this law, according to this act, financing instrument in Iranian capital market was occurred by issuing sukuk and also issuing new equity-based instrument. Derivatives also was announced in Iran, Sharia complement futures contract was announced in Iran, and also a lot of Sharia-based financial institutions was started successfully, like investment bank and other type of institutions. There is another act in Iran. It is known as supplementary law or completed law, which is a known Financial Instrument and Institution Development Act in Iran. It was ratified in 2009. After approving of a new act of Iran in 2005, in 2009, the supplementary act was ratified, and after approving of this new law, and according to the approach of law, development of Sharia committee activities in Sharia governance framework was started very successfully. And other thing that was started is following. Studying Sharia-related aspects of financial products in Islamic finance studies, improvement of Sharia supervision, establishment of Sharia working group in GOM. According to a new idea that our colleagues get from the new act was to establishment the new working group in GOM. Enhancing fatwa studying issues. Establishment of Islamic Finance Studies Office in Qom as well, and also introduction of post-resolution Sharia supervision, including Islamic Finance Studies segment in research, development, and Islamic Studies development. Sharia committee was occurred and it was started in Qom city, and as well as the Sharia working group was started its work in Qom. Developing and financing instrument in Iran capital market, including issuing sukuk as well as musharaka sukuk, issuing new equity, structuring new sukuk types like ijara, murabaha, istisna, salam, and etc. Sharia complement futures contract, Sharia complement options contract, and development of financial institutions and corporations like investment bank, Sharia complement fund are started in our country very well. And today there are a lot of funds and specifically the fixed income funds are actively are working in our country. More than about 100 funds are actively working in our market, and there are a lot of other financial institutions are actively working in our market. So this is a very little and quick glance in our market and its history in our country. Let me have our guests here in this panel, Mr. Actually Mazahir Abbas Ziadi in Pakistan. He is a great scholar in Pakistan. We have also another guy from Indonesia, Mr. Muhammad Iman Mihajat from Indonesia. We have two gentlemen here in this panel. Let me have Mr. Mazahir Abbas for the first time, and I invite him to have his speech and his presentation for the audience. Thank you.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وبه نستعين إنه خير ناصر ومعين اللهم وفقنا لما تحب وترضى. Amma ba'd, first of all I would like to say Assalamu alaikum jami'an wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu to all of you. My name is Sayyid Mazhar Abbas Zaidi, so nobody knows me with the name Mazahir. From my childhood, I have been listening, your name is Manzar, Azhar, Mazhar. It's actually a Mazhar. First of all, I would like to thank to the management of this conference for their kind invitation. I really feel honored and privileged to be among you. It is really a great and wonderful opportunity to learn from these learned scholars. Secondly, I would like to congratulate the management for organizing this successful event. Really, they deserve a huge round of applause. Thank you so much. My topic is regarding Sharia governance. First of all, I would like to talk about this phrase, Sharia governance. What does this phrase mean, Sharia governance? It comprises two words, Sharia and governance. What does Sharia mean? Dictionary meaning is the path, the way. But what I want to say about the word Sharia, first of all, we have to understand one thing, that Islam is not a religion only, which has a certain set of rules, regulation, and worship. But we believe that Islam is a complete way of life, which is regarded as a deen. Inna ad-deena 'inda Allahi al-Islam. وَمَنْ يَبْتَغِي غَيْرَ الْإِسْلَامِ دِينًا فَلَنْ يُقْبَلَ مِنْهُ. So Islam is not just for correcting the financial transaction, but also correcting myself as well. So I must be 24/7 compliant. So we should start from this point of view that Sharia governance starts with me. So then we will understand better. Today, specifically, we are talking about the Sharia governance in the Islamic capital market. So there may be two approaches. First, we literate someone towards financial inclusion. We start working on the financial inclusion. We start working on the financial literacy of the people. And then tell him, then, this is Sharia, you should do this and you should not do this. And the second approach is new approach. What? We can say that we have to be 24/7 compliant. So whatever we are doing, either we are saying something, either we are doing something, it is a financial transaction or not, we must be compliant. And then we should start them being literate, making them literate. So this approach will definitely help us. First, we have to understand and we have to make all people understand that Sharia compliance risk must be our priority. In each transaction, our first check must be SNCR, Sharia non-compliance risk. So we consider Islam as a deen, not some rules and regulations, but a whole conduct of life. Second, we really have to grow out of this mind that whatever I believe, whatever I say is only Sharia. That is the biggest challenge we are facing globally. In Malaysia, we see whatever they are saying, that is Sharia. In Middle East, when you go to Middle East, they say whatever we are saying, that is Sharia. In Iran, we say this is Sharia. We are working on the Islamic capital market. We are working on the Islamic finance. So we are not talking about the specific sect finance. So we must grow out of this mind that whatever I am saying, that is only Sharia. We should respect each other's views. Whatever you are saying, you are Muslim, I am Muslim. So if this is your opinion, I should respect this. And we should try to develop a governance standards somehow, which is, you can say that, comply to all sects or all school of thoughts. Why governance is important? Sharia governance. Governance is not just guidelines, but these are the rules, regulations. These are the framework on which I will be audited. I will be evaluated. So this is really important to understand why Sharia governance is important. It starts with me, then my doings, and we should respect all views. So we may have the comprehensive product. My second thought is regarding the implementation of Sharia governance. Okay, we can talk about the importance of Sharia governance, why it is needed, and we should develop this standard, okay, that is standard. Who will implement this? We really have to work hard on the capacity building, human resource-wise or literature-wise. Yes, we have organized this conference, but you go to the market and you ask him, what is the difference between Islamic banking? You say, oh, they are taking riba in the name of return or profit. They have just changed the name to the return or rent, but they are taking riba. So that is the biggest challenge we are facing. We can organize specialized trainings with these professionals, but who will work for the general public? We have to make them understand that Islam has commercial laws. Each person talks about the namaz, talk about the hajj, the rule and regulation laws regarding the namaz, but nobody talk about the sale and purchase contract. What is the Islam saying regarding this? First of all, we have to work on this cause. We have to capacity building among the masses that Islam has commercial laws and you should take care of that. When we will do this, when we will make them financially literate, first Sharia literate, then financially literate, then we can achieve our goal. So I was talking about the implementation of Sharia governance. Sharia governance will be implemented through the capacity building in terms of literature, in terms of human resource. So we are seeing that many governance frameworks are being developed in different countries, such as in Pakistan, we have Sharia governance framework from State Bank of Pakistan and Sharia Advisor Regulation Act, which has been replaced by Sharia Governance Regulation, which was issued by Securities and Exchange Commission of Pakistan in 2023. It is a very detailed and comprehensive governance regulation, which talk about the Sharia board, which talks about the Sharia compliance department, all the challenges which were being presented my brother, that the Sharia board challenges, Sharia audit challenges, Sharia compliance challenges, all these challenges are being addressed, alhamdulillah. And the system is getting better and better. So first, we have to work on the financial inclusion of the people with the Sharia literacy. We saw before lunch that Muslim countries are not contributing as much as Western countries are contributing Islamic capital market. Why? Because bottleneck is we do not have financial literacy. In Iran, alhamdulillah, we have, but in many other countries, financial literacy is not as much as it should be. So we must work on the financial literacy, but with this point that whatever we're doing, it must be evaluated firstly on the basis of Sharia. I would like to talk about specifically regarding the Sharia governance framework issued by the State Bank of Pakistan and Securities and Exchange Commission of Pakistan. We have two regulators in Pakistan. One regulates the banking sector, it's called the State Bank of Pakistan, and the second one is Securities and Exchange Commission of Pakistan. We see that Sharia governance framework talks about the development of Sharia boards, and there must be a resident Sharia board member, and now it has been revised, and each bank has to have at least 3 unique members. It is a good thing. Sharia compliance department, Sharia audit department, and now the things are getting better. First, we have to issue the standard product and procedures, and then we have to evaluate that. Who will evaluate that? A person who has acquired those expertise. In Sharia governance regulation, we see a detailed fit and proper criteria for Sharia advisor who is eligible to be registered as an advisor. So that was the biggest challenge we were facing. Who must be at the central board? Who must be at the commercial bank board? So now, alhamdulillah, the regulation has been developed and it has been issued by Securities and Exchange Commission of Pakistan, and almost 200 scholars have been registered individually or as a company. And alhamdulillah, in Pakistan, it is being done, and globally, it is also being done, and people are working on this. So my conclusion point, first, wherever I go, I say only one thing, that in the masses, we have to make them understand that Islam is a deen. It does not talk about just offering namaz, offering hajj, but it also talks about the commercial laws as well. When we make them understand that Islam is a complete deen, it has a code of life, so then we can direct them towards the Islamic finance. They will definitely understand better. But at first stage, we have to make this point more impressive, that our first check before doing anything must be Sharia compliance risk. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Abbas, for highlighting the Sharia governance framework, and you are explaining the Sharia environment very well. Mr. Abbas currently serves as an executive member of the As-Sadiq Institute of Islamic Banking, Finance and Takaful. He is also a Sharia board member of a Markaz Ifta wa Huquq, Sharia and Markazul Istifta al-Imamiyya in Pakistan. He is also associated with the Halal Development Council of Pakistan. Thank you very much. Okay, let me have the other panelist, Mr. Mahajat. I invite him to have actually his thesis about Sharia governance in everywhere, and particularly in Islamic world.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillah wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah wa la hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. First of all, I would like to appreciate the organizer for organizing this very good conference from around the globe to exchange the research and opinions among the scholars and practitioners. Regarding the Sharia governance, before we are going into the Sharia governance, we have to understand what is the definition of the governance itself. Because we have two papers presented earlier, it's not thick into what is Sharia governance basically and what's the area you want to touch. If you see the latest IFSB, IOFI, revised Sharia governance framework, this is very good framework that you can read because it's compared to IOFI 2015, IOFI 2017, or IFSB 29. The IFSB and IOFI, they are organizing one still draft which regard to revise Sharia governance framework. That's if you read this comprehensively, this framework, that you will understand what is the Sharia governance framework exactly. So that's why I have two papers before published in the Scopus regarding Sharia governance implementation in Oman. I have my colleague in Oman as well. And also how the Sharia governance framework practice in Indonesia. So from these two research, I'm combining this research into one methodology that IFSB and IOFI has been established an appropriate Sharia governance framework. What is the Sharia governance framework? If you are looking at that definition from IFSB and IOFI, it's saying that it is IFS must have a place comprehensive Sharia governance framework. What is that? It is a framework and complex sets of institutions and the system arrangement for effective and independent oversight of Sharia compliance and its product, services, processes, and business operations. Because in general governance, whether you wants to implement good corporate governance, you have to have independent set of system or governance set that include how this organization will work independently and oversight their business and operations. While in the Sharia governance, you have to set how this company, they are adhere to Sharia compliance, that they are what the product and services offered by them is not against the Sharia rules and principle. How to do that? Because this is also insight for the researchers, before the papers presenters. At least I can see that from 4 principles. Although FSB and IOFI, they are setting 13 principles in order to see whether the Sharia governance implemented appropriately or not. But I'm looking in order to make it easy, we can look into 4 principles. The first principle is how this Sharia governance implemented in regulatory body. We have here in Securities Actions organization from Iran and Indonesia. We have also my colleague from OJK. We have also from other part of country Securities Actions commissions. First one, in order to see whether the Sharia compliance is, operated quite appropriately, whether this is Sharia, they are implementing Sharia or not, we can see first from the regulatory body. What's from the regulatory? The IOFI already issued the Central Sharia Board, a standard number 8, where the regulatory body, they have to have Central Sharia Board. Where around the globe, they have different names. For example, in GCC, we have Higher Sharia Supervisory Authority. In Oman, we call it HSSA, Higher Sharia Supervisory Authority. In UAE, we call it Higher Sharia Authority. In Malaysia, we call it Sharia Advisory Council. In Indonesia, we have independent, but it is not regulatory. This is also insight from for OJK in order to develop. That is the first principle. The second principle, how to implement Sharia governance framework, is internal Sharia structure. Internal Sharia structure, at least in that individual institution, you have to have Sharia supervisory board in order to see whether the company or organizations or in stock, it is compliant with Sharia. This is the higher authority in that individual institutions. And because the SSB, they are not day-to-day basis looking at the business and operation, product and service that are implemented on that individual institution, you have to have internal structure that going to see whether the Sharia product and services are already comply with Sharia or not. Right? So at least in the bank, we have, first of all, on the top level, we have a head of Sharia or chief Sharia officer. This is already implemented in several countries, including GCC and Malaysia. I'm not see other part of the world they are implementing. Please correct me if I'm wrong, including Indonesia in my country. And the second one, on the compliance group, we have also Sharia compliance in order to see whether it is ex ante, in order to see whether the product business operations are in compliance with Sharia. Maybe in FSB IOF, they are saying it can be inside the compliance group, or they are independent, or as a Sharia compliance, independent from the compliance group. The second one, for risk, they have Sharia risk. Actually, in my country also, currently I just issued a draft. But this draft is only for banking institution, not capital market, not insurance. But this capital market, this Islamic banking regulation on Sharia governance, they are already attached this internal structure: Sharia compliance, Sharia risk, and Sharia audit. The Sharia audit one, in order to see the ex post of the business product processes, operations, and other part of the Sharia compliance has been managed properly and in compliance with Sharia without any force from the management that they have to, they can do any non-Sharia compliance business in the institutions. The last one, the fourth principle is that independent external Sharia auditor. Because we have to have a person or independent body that see this company already complied with Sharia rules on principle or not through the external audit functions. But it has to be specific, independent Sharia external audit. Because if we are asking the general audit to do Sharia because they don't have any enough basic knowledge of Sharia, then you are asking them to audit the Sharia functions of in the Sharia matters in the bank. Of course, it will not cover the Sharia matters. Yes, maybe it can cover general audit, but it's not specific to the Sharia. I think this is the four principles that we have to understand how we're going to implement Sharia governance. Why we have to implement Sharia governance? It is shown that in many research that showing those companies who are implementing proper Sharia governance framework, proper corporate governance framework, they are mostly better performance. If you see from the research, for example, Fortune Global 500 companies, for example, they are saying there is positive correlations between those who are implementing proper governance and those who are not. So, who are implementing proper Sharia governance, it will impact it will give a positive impact to the organization. But for those who are not implement Sharia governance framework properly, it will negative impact to the institution. Why? What is the reason behind this? Because SSB and internal structures, independent external Sharia, or in the regulatory, for example, we have Central Sharia Board, they are actually making sure everything that you are doing in compliance with Sharia. What is in compliance with Sharia, of course, it will give a positive impact to the companies. I think that from me, maybe we can have a discussion later on. Thank you very much.
Mr. Mohammed Iman are focused on how we can implement Sharia governance in different areas and different jurisdictions. Thank you very much, Mr. Mohammed. We can have some question about our finding, talking about the Sharia governance and its framework and the thesis that presented by my colleagues here. Is there any question? Please, yes. If it is possible, please give him the microphone. Okay, you can go to the microphone. Okay. Okay.
Hello, and thank you very much from your very good presentations. I think one of the last issues in these presentations is about how we can link the Sharia governance to the mainstream and classic finance in the recent world. Because I think that the whole world today is very divergent and globalized. And if Muslim people want to have connection with other people, with other religions and opinions in the world, they need to find some common language that can help them to communicate with other peoples. So I think that one of the last issues is about the thing that I have.
The linkage between conventional and
Yes.
Islamic finance.
Yes.
So the Islamic finance is based on Sharia compliance principles. And the main concerns of Sharia scholars is that how we can differentiate between two markets, between conventional market and existing market and Islamic finance. Because in Islamic finance, hence the fragile activity, the criminal activity will not occur. You cannot see any criminal action in Islamic finance. Actually, there is a linkage between actually Islamic finance and conventional one in the world. Everybody knows that there are differentiate between two markets, and people are interested in Islamic finance because it is not interest-based. It is fully based on Sharia accepted principles. But let me have my colleagues here to have their opinion about this issue. Is there any linkage between the conventional market and also Islamic market? And is it possible to have these linkages between two markets?
All right. Thank you very much for the good questions. Yes, of course, there is linkage between the conventional governance and Sharia governance. If you are talking from the specific governance itself, because the Sharia governance, it's included in good corporate governance. Because if the conventional one, they are focusing on the regulatory requirements that they have to have. For example, in one institution, they have to be one CEO, and they have chief compliance, risk and governance. They have to have a business unit, for example. They have to have other part, and also they have to have internal audit internal compliance. This is the same like what implemented in Islamic financial institutions. But in addition to that, in order for you to say that you are Sharia institutions or institutions that offer Islamic financial products and services, you have to make sure that you are implemented this correctly. How to say you are implemented correctly? There is an organs in governance that make sure everything's complied with Sharia. So that's why there is, of course, linkage between the conventional governance and Sharia governance, because corporate governance is in macro level, but in Sharia governance is the specific inside the corporate governance. That's why, in order to say you are Islamic financial institutions, because people want to see whether you are Sharia compliant institution is from these organs. Otherwise, people, the confidence level of Sharia from the public is not that good, because you don't have the people who are knowing Sharia that make sure Sharia compliance in your institutions. I think that's. Thank you.
You can take the case of ESG instrument, ESG securities actually. If they are in compliance with Sharia principles, they are acceptable by Sharia. But if you follow your interest during the ESG securities, they are not allowed, they are not permitted by Sharia principles. And if you have any explanation about this question.
Thank you so much once again. I would like to add one comment only, that it is not really necessary to differentiate at each state that this is Sharia and this is not Sharia. Usually many transactions are compliant and are permissible, but when we talk about the Sharia governance, so it means we are going one step back. Sharia governance itself includes corporate governance. Corporate governance was developed to safeguard the interest of the shareholder. But when we claim that it is an Islamic institution, this product is Sharia compliant, so we are not just approving the product, but the process as well. So for approving the product and process, we have one reputational risk. So in Sharia governance, we go back, one step back, and say this is a Sharia governance. It includes general corporate governance framework as well as the Sharia. I would like to especially mention one personality here, Ayatollah Shaheed Sayyid Baqir Sadr. I believe that you are familiar with his name. He is one of the pioneers of Islamic banking in the world. He wrote his book, Iqtisaduna, Our Economic System, Al-Bank Al-Arabi, Interest-Free Banking. He was one of the pioneer and faqih mujtahid from Iraq, Ayatollah Shaheed Sayyid Baqir Sadr. When he was writing the interest-free banking, he stated 3 conditions for developing an Islamic financial institution. For first, development, and second, for its prosperity. He said that this institute, which we are claiming that it will be Islamic bank, it will be Islamic capital market, it will be Islamic financial institution, it must be Sharia compliant at each stage. This is really important, because our hypothesis is Islamic banking, Islamic capital market. So how can we get rid of Islamic governance system? Sharia governance, so it must be Sharia compliant. Second, it must be that institute which it was earlier. What I mean to say that, not the case be that we start changing the bank into the Islamic bank and at the result it is not a bank, it's a trading institute. No, it must be bank. So first it must be Sharia compliant, then it must be the institute which it was, but now it is a Sharia compliant. And the third, it must be flexible enough to live in that society. We are not living alone. We are not living in a whole Islamic system. The problem with a courage and bravery, I want to make a comment here. In many Muslim countries, we are facing so many issues. You know why? Because we have Muslim rulers, but not Islamic government. So, we have Muslim rulers. His name will be Muhammad, Abdullah. But where is the Islamic government? No. So these are the challenges occurring. In Iran, Alhamdulillah, after Islamic revolution, so many challenges are not there because we have Islamic government with Muslim rulers. So now I think the time has come that, like me, a person, I'm a student, but scholars should work on this and should say regarding the development of Islamic government, inshallah. Thank you so much. So if we are able to have Islamic government, we do not need to have any other Islamic governance system, especially.
Yes. Any other question, please? Is there any question here? Please.
With the permission of the chair, a few comments to start with. There have been a discussion that we get to have a negative feedback from the general public that we are just trying to kosher up something which have been in vogue in the conventional banking, and we are just giving it another name. And then you have just mentioned the issue, staying away from the political aspect of it without having the Islamic governance or the government. The real issue which I've found in my studies is that we have been living in the age of certain philosophies. There have been the socialist theory of economics, and then there have been the whole capitalist theory of economics. What we have not been able to, or at least I would blame myself, we have not been able to bring the Islamic economic theory, the philosophical aspect of it, to the common people. Islam very clearly tells us that when there is an existence of an illah, we do not have to go to hikmah. The problem is that illat is not properly communicated to the masses, and masses are unable to understand the real spirit. So that is one area where the scholarship needs to develop a proper Islamic economic theory, which is understandable and communicatable to the common people. Just another small comment that we had a discussion about in coinjoining the corporate governance and the Sharia governance. Of course, the corporate governance is a residual part of overall Sharia governance. I need your comment on a specific issue, that whether do you suggest going forward, let's say, that the boards should have Sharia experts in them as part of the decision making. We've got in Pakistan a framework which calls for having independent directors, which are not even the shareholders sometimes, but they have to be in the board to ensure that there is certain corporate governance framework is achieved. So do you suggest that Islamic scholars and Sharia experts can directly become part of the board? I know there exists a conflict of interest that they shall be doing the compliance as well, and then, but still, I need your comment. One other small proposal, and if it is worth it, the House can adopt it as a proposal from this conference as well. We had a very elaborate presentation from Professor Sharik from India. He actually did a lot of work in enumerating and collecting the data on Sharia compliant scripts. Can this conference actually come up with, let's say, an online platform where each of the participant countries would simply start reporting the basic financial data of each of the Sharia compliant scripts from their respective jurisdictions, and let's see if we can, going forward, let's say, regional Sharia governance indices, let's say global Sharia governance indices, and this platform, if developed, and personally, I'm fully committed to it if it happens, it can be a platform which can actually disseminate the numbers, the data, the quantitative side of the things to the whole world. We just quoted the example that the three large economies from the EU, USA, and Germany, they've got $50 trillion of a market of Sharia compliant framework. That actually tells the Muslim countries that Sharia have got the solution. We are not looking at the right place. Last but not, my apologies for this longer comment, my humble apologies. We are into the transition stage. There has been a discussion about Sharia tolerance. So do you suggest we should have a transitional framework in place, similar to a regulatory framework, which actually gives an opportunity to a company to start adhering to Sharia governance framework and complete it in, let's say, 3 years, and then they can continue to enjoy during those 3 years the benefits which are available to the Sharia? Thank you very much for your patience.
Let's have your last comment. In Iran, we have a unified system of Sharia principle governing in Iran in a way that there is no non-Sharia activity in Iran. There is no non-Sharia banking, there is no non-Sharia capital market in Iran, and we are trying to improve ourselves to design a new framework of Iran's in order to present it to the world. In my opinion, I hope that we successfully we get a harmonization in Islamic capital market, and we synchronize the capital market in a way that we harmonize the fatwa also in a way that we can extract the fatwa in the same way that we finally reach the same finding in our fatwa procedure. Let's Mr. Abbas comment here.
If you want to ask me that I should be in the board, so definitely my answer is yes. Why I should not be over there? So first, Sharia, in my opinion, Sharia is the base. Like Sharia is the pillar which is not seen, but the whole building is constructed on those pillars. So if the pillars are solid, building will be strong. But if the pillars are not solid, building will be shaky. That is obvious. So when we say that there must be a scholar, because we are saying, because now the education has been separated into two parts. One is a conventional financial system. A conventional financial expert does not now, it is in Persian we say mutasifane. The problem is that conventional financial expert do not care about the Sharia. But if I am talking about the board of directors who are solid with Sharia, so I firmly believe that there is no need of any other Sharia scholar. But it must be there, but not in that quorum. So we have the challenges where we have financial experts, they are conventional financial experts, but they do not know what is Sharia. This is the problem. And if they know, they do not know in detail. What they want, they say that, okay, Maulana Sahab, kindly make it for us. It happens with us. Maulana Sahab, please, if you please can do this, if any reason can be there. So that is the challenge, that we have financial experts, we have Sharia scholars. Some of the Sharia scholars do not know the financial best practices, and some of the professionals do not know the Sharia. So now we want to make a situation where the Sharia expert as well as the financial experts sit together and make a decision which is Sharia compliant and as per the best business practices. But inshallah, as I earlier stated, that Sharia starts with me when I know what I am asked to do as per this, what Islam asked me to do, and then I start doing anything, whether I'm a doctor, I'm an engineer, I'm a businessman, inshallah it will be compliant. I do not need any other Sharia scholar to be with me. But now the challenge is, we have in Pakistan a whole conventional system. 80% is conventional, 20% is Islamic. So in Pakistan we cannot say that there must not be Sharia scholar. There must be. Because there are many problems. There are riba, gharar, khimar, and they're saying no. It's like you're holding your air from this side or from this. So these are the sentences we are listening over there. So then again, as a scholar, I want to be there. But is really a need for myself? So inshallah, if that director is a Sharia sound, I think I don't.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, can we have your comments?
All right, thank you very much for the questions. Very good questions. Basically, what you are stated regarding the BOD, they are one Sharia scholars sitting as independent. In one country like Malaysia, they are already implemented where the chairman of the Sharia board, they are sitting as independent of board of directors. So that's why, if you are seeing the IFSB IOF revised governance framework, and also already stated in our Sharia governance framework OJK as a draft in this 2023, there is regulations that board of directors, management, and Sharia supervisory board has to meet at least 3 times a year in order to discuss the Sharia-related matters, and the management has to be aware that they have to implement the proper Sharia compliance in that institutions. Because we found that there are a lot of management who are not qualified in Sharia. They are trying, as my colleague said, can you make this conventional as Sharia? It's not like that. That's why we have a statement from the stakeholder that Islamic is the same like conventional, because the way how they sell their product is the same like conventional. This is the way, this is actually our challenge, how we can increase the public awareness about Sharia in order for them to say at least the Sharia is different with conventional. That is a quite also challenge to the industry currently. And the second question regarding the global stock index, actually maybe for in a Securities Exchange Organization, we can collaborate in order to see from each different countries, because maybe Prof. Sharik also become one of the editor in this project, right, Prof? To see whether how the global index as our stock screening process methodology applied in several jurisdictions, including Indonesia, Malaysia, India, because actually because I was born as a practitioner most of my time in the bank. So what we did is that in order to see, in order we invest in some organization, we are doing stock screening process. We are implementing all the methodologies that you are presented. So this is from, once I presented to the CEO, this is a methodology from IOFI, this is methodology from FTSE, this is methodology from Dow Jones, this is methodology from Indonesia, which sometimes, because when I was in Oman, there is still no regulation from CMA whether we are going to use which stock screening methodology that we are going to do. So that's why I'm opening the all stock screening methodology to the CEO, which screening method that they want to see. And the last one is regarding transitions. I think once you see one of the presentation from Sharik, there is a decrease from 30% of ratio into 37. I think that's because of transitions. In our case, Indonesia, before, in our early stage of Islamic capital market, we are saying the company that wants to say they are Islamic companies or include in Islamic stock index, the debt ratio, it cannot be more than 80%. 80, not 33. 80. But now we are decreasing because of our transition already, maybe already done. We are start to follow the global practices. So, of course, transition is there. It depends on the jurisdiction and their readiness about how to implement their Islamic banking and finance in their respective countries. Okay. Thank you.
You have indicated some considerable point about Islamic economic thesis, about economic theory, and how Sharia principles can be applied in Islamic finance. Hopefully they are considered in, here in this ICM, and in other panels maybe you will get your mentioned point, inshallah. Okay, if you are agree, we can wrap our panel up, because there is no question. Actually, the time is over. And thank you very much for...
I'd like to add one comment.
Just one comment. Okay, please.
Sorry, last 1 minute. You were talking about the Islamic economic system. When we talk about the economic system, it talks about what should be, not what is. We are at the first stage that we are developing Islamic financial institution, Islamic banking, Islamic capital market. Now we are working on what is and how it should be corrected or how it could be corrected. This is the first phase. Inshallah, we believe that time will come, we will start thinking that this institute should be here or not. So Islamic economic system talks about what should be and what should not be within the framework of Sharia. So, I firmly believe that Islamic banking is a first step towards the Islamic economic system. We all want to have Islamic economic system, but some people think that when they will wake up tomorrow, everything will be changed. Bank will be in the masjid. Imam will be the branch manager. It will not happen ever. He will be pesh namaz ever. So what I think that this is the first step, and we should work on the masses awareness. Then again, masses awareness. Islam is a deen. So inshallah, this is the first step which has been taken by our leaders, and now we will follow this, and you all people are great personalities, scholars. Inshallah, I also want to learn from your side. So inshallah, the time will come, then we will start thinking that these institutes must be here or not. So system talks about this. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me express my heartfelt thanks to our distinguished guests for sharing their knowledge here with you and for taking part in this panel. Thank you very much.